I played Horizon Zero Dawn, a AAA title, on this device for about 10 hours on a single charge. The Logitech G Cloud has many weaknesses compared to its other handheld relatives, but at only $250 when it's on sale, the G Cloud handheld provides an amazing value proposition if you fit into a narrow demographic. Is the G Cloud worth $250? After using it for about 2 months now, I have a verdict. Let's check it out. At $250, the Logitech G Cloud is priced at the so-called sweet spot, coined by many who reviewed it. When I purchased the G Cloud on Black Friday at such steep discount, I was determined to love this device and looking forward to replacing my Steam Deck with it. But I came to a conclusion in the middle. It's nice for specific use cases and absolutely terrible in most cases. Let's dive in. From a high level, the G Cloud was designed to be a power receiving device, meaning it doesn't generate its own graphical power. It just needs to be barely good enough to receive image information that was generated from an external device and display it. For me, the external device is my powerful gaming desktop running Intel Core i9 CPU and the GTX 3090 that sits in my study room. Of course, I can't bring this hulking beast of a desktop to every other room in the house. I would like to. I want to be able to play games powered by the RTX 3090 in every room of the house without having to purchase redundant, expensive setups. At this point, the use case of the G Cloud is very clear to me. As someone who don't travel much, the G Cloud will play high-fidelity games around my house within the Wi-Fi 6 range for as cheap as possible, and with as little hardware redundancy as possible. The primary purpose of the G Cloud, or any streaming-oriented handhelds, are to avoid hardware redundancy by borrowing graphical power from other devices while producing very little graphical power on its own. This should, in theory, save you the cost from purchasing redundant hardware. In my use case, which is strictly in-home entertainment, there is not much need to have a handheld that has a GPU. Games streamed locally through Steam Link and Xbox app are high quality and snappy. Though, there are some special cases which an internal GPU is preferred, such as competitive games. But for my use case, which is just casual gaming, I don't need another dedicated graphics card. I already have a powerful one. So it's up to me to spend as little as possible on a gaming handheld, especially when it could stream from my powerful desktop. At $250, no other devices on the market currently provides this level of value by enabling me to play all of my Steam games in every corner of the house on maximum ultra setting. Battery life is absolutely amazing on this device. On standby, it burns roughly 3% battery per day. It will be able to stand by for more than a month on one single charge. I get about 1 hour of gaming per every 10% battery when streaming games, for a total of about 10 hours. Not needing to look at the battery indicator and not needing to look at the battery percentage for days at a time is seriously great convenience. I remember when I had the Steam Deck, I needed to make sure it's on full charge for almost every gaming session. But when I pick up the G Cloud, even if it has only 20% of battery life left, that usually means at least 2 hours of playtime. Honestly, even my iPhone 13 Pro Max burns its entire battery in less than 8 hours or so streaming games. I have to applaud the Logitech G Cloud team here for optimizing something so efficiently. The system resource management is quite stingy for this device. It only allows one game or app running at any time, except for the Google Play Store. That is the only app that can run concurrently with anything else. The operating system is so efficient that even opening the Gmail app or the YouTube app on the G Cloud, you'll need to close the current game you're playing, which is annoying, but it also shows just how weak the CPU of the device is. The devs know allowing multiple apps running in parallel will cause everything to slow down, therefore only one app is allowed to be turned on at any given time. The UI is essentially an overlay on top of the Android OS. They did a good job on the surface level that looks identical to the PS4 UI, but once you dig deeper, things may not be as smooth. For some Android and system-wide prompts, you can use the G-Cloud's controllers to interact with. And there are some prompts that you can't, and you have to use your touchscreen. I would never know which, so I would just default to use the touchscreen most of the time for any prompts or pop-ups. I also find it annoying that there is no overlay dropdown to quickly change common settings such as screen brightness and Bluetooth options. For example, the Game Pass Ultimate app connection always disconnects the entire game when you need to minimize the app to adjust system settings, and you will need to spend a few minutes reconnecting back to the Game Pass into the game you were playing before. It's quite annoying. Everything else operates like how you would expect an Android device would operate. However, Google thinks this is a tablet or phone and asks me to set up everything like Google Photos, Music, YouTube, Contacts, all the Google suite of apps, which are absolute bloatware on a gaming device like this. I can see the value of having G-Cloud synced to game captures and game screenshots using Google Photos, but please don't save them alongside with my family photos. Carve out your own folder or something. Right now it just doesn't feel like its own gaming device. It still feels like I'm playing on a phone. Other redeeming quality of this handheld is the huge 7-inch screen compared to other mobile devices. This screen is vibrant and gets pretty bright. It dwarfs even the biggest phones. It might be worth getting the G-Cloud for the screen upgrade if you're currently gaming on your phone. However, the Razer Edge is coming out with a 6.8 144Hz refresh rate AMOLED screen, which sounds absolutely glorious. If you care a great deal about having the best screen, then shelling out an $150 for the Razer Edge might be the better option. However, if you want to save money and have the best screen at $250, this device has the best and the biggest screen. One reason to get this, say over an attachable controller, is the convenience. You don't need to take off your phone case and connect it to your controller every gaming session and then do the reverse when you're done. You don't need to share the same battery or the same storage with your smartphone. And if you have a small smartphone and you don't like gaming on tiny screens, then you might need to invest in bigger screen phones, which could get expensive. If you want to avoid any of what I just mentioned, then the G-Cloud might just be the best value currently on the market as a complete streaming device. For now, this $250 device provides an amazing value as it delivers 3090 level graphics to every room where I have good Wi-Fi coverage. And the graphics of the games that I'm streaming locally is often better and smoother than what my Steam Deck could push out on its own. I'm playing this in my nursery, on the toilet, in the garage, on my cycling trainer, in the bed. It exceeds my expectations. But there are also plenty of downsides. For any cloud streaming device or local streaming device to be well utilized, you need to have a semi-powerful desktop setup already existing at your home, or you need to sign up for cloud services and pay for perpetuity. The lack of a powerful CPU and a GPU in this device is really forcing it to be a secondary gaming device that needs to borrow power from a powerful one somewhere else in the house. If you don't already have a dedicated gaming PC or Xbox to stream from, then this essentially becomes a brick, as its own budget CPU is too weak to be playing anything worthwhile. Playing cloud games comes with a lot of latency issues. It's very noticeable, where competitive games and games that require quick reflexes are not enjoyable. Cloud games are subscription-based, meaning you don't own anything. You need to pay out $15 per month per service. and that's $180 per year per streaming service, or $530 for 3 years per service. If you have more than one streaming services, say both NVIDIA GeForce and Xbox Ultimate, that's going to cost you roughly $1,080 in 3 years for both services. Of course, there are other ways to get Xbox Ultimate for cheap with a VPN, but I will not cover that in this video. Streamed games also have quite a bit of graphical artifacts and distortions from time to time. Even on a small 7-inch screen, the quality of what is streamed over my fiber internet is tolerable at best. The experience is quite buggy as well, as you can't minimize any app on the G Cloud. If you do, your session will disconnect every single time. It is very annoying. Also, cloud gaming only supports base games. If you want to play expansions or pay for add-ons, that is not possible. You'll need to download the base game onto your PC or Xbox in order to own add-ons and expansions, making you tethered to a local device even if you want to completely move to the cloud. You also need a good router for streaming devices like this. Your router needs to have high bandwidth, low latency, and good coverage. So potentially, because you need good coverage, you need a mesh network. A decent Wi-Fi 6 network usually costs $500 or more. I have a Wi-Fi 6 router and fiber internet that provides speeds up to 955 megabits per second. Good high-speed internet service and Wi-Fi networks could cost you additional hundreds and maybe even thousands of dollars if you do not already have these setups available at home. The G Cloud is absolutely bottlenecked by the service provider and your own Wi-Fi hardware if they're not fast enough or powerful enough. My G Cloud's left thumbstick began to get stuck about 1 week of playing. I had to apply some WD-40 down the thumbstick's base to alleviate this problem. It's working now, we'll see how long it lasts. The thumbstick also has a huge dead zone. It makes aiming and anything that requires precision on the thumbstick completely unplayable. Not only do you have to compensate for latency lag on streaming devices like this, you now also have to compensate for a huge thumbstick dead zone, making racing games like Forza and shooters like Halo almost unplayable. Perhaps one day Logitech will fix this issue over software, but I wouldn't make a purchasing decision based on hope for the future. The CPU only needs to be powerful enough to stream games. As soon as you leave Wi-Fi range, it becomes quite literally a brick. The device itself won't be powerful enough to play games like Diablo Immortal, even on the lowest specs, without significant hiccups and lags. But then, you can't play most mobile games on the go on this device because most mobile app games require internet service to work, and the G Cloud is a Wi-Fi only device, so you can't really travel with it. You'll be just carrying a brick. You could play again once you reach a hotel with Wi-Fi, but your gaming experience will be at the mercy of the hotel's internet service, which you will be sharing with everyone else in that building, and it's probably not going to be enjoyable. Any mobile device that you already own is capable of doing exactly what the G Cloud can do with a $50 handheld controller, and it also has internet LTE service. For example, my iPhone 13 Pro Max plus a Razer Kishi is fully capable of doing exactly how I would use the G Cloud, playing games on Steam Link and streaming from the Xbox. Pretty much add a 50 controller and you got yourself a G Cloud using existing devices. So if you are okay with playing on your phone or tablet, you can absolutely save yourself $250 and not buy this. But as I mentioned before, there are conveniences to having a dedicated device, such as capacity and battery and its own dedicated bigger screen. But if you think all of that is worth an additional $250, then it might be the thing for you. But as for me, I think I'm going to save $250 by returning this device and just playing occasionally on my phone with a Kishi controller. Unfortunately, everything about the G Cloud, I mean every aspect of it, another existing or soon upcoming device would do better or do it cheaper. At this point, with competitors such as Steam Deck, One X Player 2, Razer Edge handheld, phone controllers, the G Cloud quite literally has no winning attributes in any category. Only saving grace for the G Cloud is the long and dedicated battery life, so you don't have to drain the battery of your phone while playing games, and also the slightly bigger 7-inch screen, the SD card expansion slots, and the convenience of having no need to spend 30 seconds setting up your controllers to play games. To me, doing any of these inconveniences is well worth $250 that I would be saving by not buying the G Cloud. There are other smaller issues that I compiled together here that doesn't really belong to any other categories. For example, the button to hold on to when unlocking the device, it takes a little bit too long. I should be able to remove or customize this unlock screen, but they don't have that option right now. It's also pretty weird signing into all the Google services like Gmail, calendars, contacts, photos. I can feel these apps do not belong here on this device, and it's disruptive to the immersive gaming experience when I get a calendar notification and a Gmail notification on my gaming device, like say a doctor's appointment or something. All my Android apps and Google notifications are displayed on this device thinking it's a phone or tablet. I think Logitech and Google needs to make this experience more unique and smoother. The current iteration feels like a janky last-minute job with a UI launcher instead of its own UI experience. Long story short, what kind of person should pick up the Logitech G Cloud? You should pick up the Logitech G Cloud if you already have a desktop at home to stream from on a good Wi-Fi network, and also don't expect to travel with it much. You also don't want to use your mobile device as a gaming handheld. And you also are okay with paying an additional $180 per year per gaming service in perpetuity. Naturally, I don't think there will be many people in this category. I've already pre-ordered the Razer Edge and the X Player 1 too, so please subscribe for future contents and reviews. This channel is dedicated to anything tech and fun related products. Anything from go-karts, drones to games. If you're interested, you can help me out by hitting that like and subscribe button. Let me know down below what handheld systems you love and want me to review next. Do you agree or disagree with everything I said? Thank you, and have a good day.